Welcome to the Bad Tutors podcast. If you're here for the newest, up-to-date, and accurate information about the nerdy topics that are near and dear to your heart, well, let me tell you, you ended up in the wrong place. Here, we are all about hot takes and grandiose displays of misinformation, so stick along for the ride and you might just blow a blood vessel or two. So Tyler, as I'm sure you know, we just had Thanksgiving this last week here, and I felt the need to do something a little festive for the occasion. And continuing on the trend of episodes that we have been, it would be very quirky, wacky, and wild to do an SCP-themed Thanksgiving episode. But you know what? I don't know what the fuck that would be. I don't know what that... Yeah, I don't know what that would be at all. So I'm not doing that. Instead, what I'm doing is I'm going to steal your thunder a little bit here and talk about Monster Hunter.
You bastard.
This idea is partially stolen from a number of people. It's kind of my amalgamation of a number of things. For one, every episode of Unraveled by Brian David Gilbert, I suppose mainly his Pokemon edibility one, but also stealing a concept from our friend Trevor from my birthday event where we all made PowerPoints.
Oh God, I know where this is going.
He created the most bangable Monster Hunter monster. I have created what I would consider to be the list of what Monster Hunter monster would be the best for your Thanksgiving Day meal.
Like, so tasty? Or, okay.
Exactly. Yeah. So that's where we're going to be going.
All right.
With this. This is going to be, I would say, somewhat obviously an incredibly subjective way to go through what I'd say through my rankings are my top 10 from Monster Hunter World and Monster Hunter Rise, including the DLC. The other games are not included. There are a few things I would like to take into consideration as to what I believe would count into my best monster to eat. One to take into consideration is variant monsters and elder dragons are not on this list. This is only base versions, or I suppose technically a couple of the Monster Hunter Rise DLC are inherently variants, but it's the only version of it we see in the game, so it's fine. Now, while a lot of this is going to be somewhat based on the location and environment of the monster, so like things they eat, the kind of location they're actually in, it's mostly going to be based on vibes, strict vibes. How good do I personally think a Rathalos looks to eat? That's where a lot of this consideration for the scoring is going to be coming from. Secondly, this is based off of my headcanon that everyone in the Monster Hunter universe, A, celebrates a version of Thanksgiving, and B, they have to do it communally. If every village, individual families are eating on their own instead of, say, in the guild hall as one big group, then any Anteca roast with a side of stone corn and plumpkin are going to do the trick for you and your family of 4. So I'm assuming that the top hunters of the village go out in like a little bit more showy of an event to go get the meal for the day. And it's one of the large monsters.
Okay.
So that's the framing of this list. There's a couple of hoops to jump through, but that's where our starting off point is, all right? Are there any initial questions based off of that information?
No, go ahead. Just go ahead.
Yeah, and just the basing for the next like 20 to 30 minutes of your life. So the next thing that I want to talk about, obviously, are my criteria for how I would rank these things and what makes them go as they are. We have 3 criteria. If you look at our little spreadsheet that we're going to be talking about of what I would think makes the best meal, the best meat for this meal. The first is ease of acquisition. The second is tenderness. And finally, taste. Now, ease of acquisition being the first one, it might seem like a little bit of an odd inclusion, but you know, like we all eat turkey for Thanksgiving every year because it's mass produced and easily accessible at the grocery store. I'm willing to bet that if they didn't grow turkeys on a farm, then people would be a lot less likely to eat that as their main protein, because then they'd have to go out and hunt them every year, and most people aren't going to do that. So how easy the kill is should be an important factor, even for a special meal within the Monster Hunter universe, because you wouldn't want to lose your best hunters on a whim just to go get the most dangerous monster, even though it might not be as tender or tasty. So you got to have ease of acquisition in here, even though some of the easier hunts might not be as tasty overall. They're going to taste better knowing that you're not down 4 of your best hunters. So that's why that's on the list. Second is tenderness. Now, while it is not the end of the world if your cut of meat is a little too tough, it limits what you can do with it, is my argument. You don't want to be taking a bite of pan-fried Tigrex steak, but a nice Tigrex goulash, slow-cooked for majority of the day, might be absolutely delicious. That might be one of the best things you've ever eaten. So this was very heavily decided on how quickly and how much a monster moves, as that would make the muscles tougher as it is in our world. And that's pretty much as far as I got with this criteria, is I lack a very basic understanding of biology and anatomy in the real world, let alone Monster Hunter versions of those disciplines. So it's going to be a lot of that, and then there's certainly a consideration to if they have some kind of an armor or a shell, then the meat is normally more protected, so I feel like it has a chance to be more tender. I don't know if that's how it works in the real world, but that was what was in my head when I made this list. So that's where your tenderness score is coming from.
Okay.
Like, I feel like there's a logic to it, especially in a world like this. Maybe not as much in our own real world, but that's besides the point.
Okay,
so,
sure.
And then third is taste. I feel like this one is fairly self-explanatory as to why it would be on the list. But this one, where the other two I feel like have scientific backing, would be way too strong of a word. But, an amount of logic put into them. Not a high amount, but an amount. This one is purely vibe-based. If I think it'd be tasty, then it's a higher number. And if I don't think it would be tasty, then it's going to be a lower number. Unfortunately, that does put all 4 fish at straight zeros. So take away from that what you will. But sorry, all 3 fish. There's one other monster.
Wrong.
Only 4 monsters got straight. Only 4 monsters got straight zeros, and all 3 of the fish are that. And that's partially because fuck all the fish. They got straight zeros. The other one, I'll hold off on for a moment. But so I was planning on going through this and giving you the top 10. There are currently sitting on this list 61. I unfortunately had to cut exactly 8 Elder Dragons because the list was at 69. And that makes me sad. But hey, whatever. I was going to go 10-1. And then if you had any specific questions of monsters that you feel like you might disagree and you might think they're particularly tasty, we can compare what we would put our results at, was my plan for the rest of this.
Okay, sure. Go ahead. I've thought nothing about this.
What is your guess for the number 1 monster on this list?
I think it'd be Kazu, or maybe
interesting. Okay.
Or maybe yeah, I'd probably throw Kazu as my guess. Wilson, stop.
Okay. So as I said, I'm going to start with 10 and work my way up. Barely getting edged out here, I will say, is Azeros, which came in. All of these were rated 1 to 10 for a maximum of 30, I should say, as well.
Right.
Azeros had a 23, as did Great Jagras and the Cenotar varietals.
Okay.
But Hermitar just barely edged it out This, I believe, came down mostly to the fact is, as I said with a shell, I feel like the shell is going to keep that meat nice and tender on the inside, even though
they're giant crabs. And
shellfish aren't
crab legs.
Yeah, so shellfish isn't my personal favorite, but I can admit where that would be good. So that one just barely edged that one out. Also at 24, we're going to have two more at 24, actually. And you're going to be probably upset with number 8 on this list for my reasoning. The next one we have up here is Tetranodon.
Okay, I can see Tetranodon.
Now, I feel like this one, that one kind of makes sense. Yeah, that's going to be somewhat like an alligator of sorts in my mind. Alligator mixed with turtle. Like, those are both known to be rather tasty on whole, so I feel like that's just going to be a pretty good one.
True. Eat it out of
on average.
The shell.
It's not terribly hard to hunt. You can eat it right out of the shell. It's one of our starting monsters in Monster Hunter Rise. It's pretty accessible to, I feel like, certainly to veteran hunters, if that's who you're sending out for your meal. But
you're right. I am.
Even if you want to send out some newer guys, there you go.
I'm upset.
Tetranodon.
I'm upset a solid with number 8.
Yeah. I figured you might be a little upset with number 8 because the answer to that is it is Basarios.
This is so wrong.
I feel like being coated in all of the minerals, and I understand that this is not. So I have written down in the notes for some of these monsters is that I have salt baked written under Basarios, and what Tyler is correctly going to say is just being covered in rocks is not the same as being salt baked.
Yeah, and the other thing is
salt baked is taking salt and putting eggs in it and completely coating something.
Can you
when you think about the fact that he also
I have a question.
Cooks himself a little bit, probably when he explodes with fire, he's slowly cooking himself.
I have a question.
Have you considered this? Okay, yeah.
When you chop Basarios' tail, do you see any meaty anatomy? Because every other break on him just reveals more rock.
Is this a gotcha or a genuine question?
This is a genuine question because I don't know.
I feel...
Can you chop his tail? I play Gunlance.
Yes.
I just break everything except for the tail. Everybody else do it.
You can chop the tail.
Okay.
Let me see if... I cannot think if there's meat or not in it, though. I don't know the answer to that question, but there has to be meat in there somewhere.
Yeah, maybe. Well, most certainly there is, monster. Right? But I guess what I'm getting at is I don't think this is a sea urchin type deal where it's literally like the most hard, tough exterior that is like extremely dangerous, yields basically a buttery organ soup like sea urchin does.
Yeah.
I think this, I mean, he is poisonous and explodes and shoots a laser beam.
Let me hit you with the fact that he also produces tryptophan and puts you to sleep, which is commonly associated with Thanksgiving.
Okay, sure, fine. Listen, it's your list. It's your list, you know? Yeah, I think that is Gravios that puts people to sleep.
I think it is Gravios that puts people to sleep.
Stop!
Yeah, he does. But he might be salt baked though, and that would be pretty delicious in my mind. If he's not salt baked, he's much further down on this list. I'll give you that. However, next, this one I feel like you might disagree with the end reasoning that I gave, but I think you'll agree with the ranking of it overall, and that's Royal Ludra.
Yeah, no.
Now I feel like yeah, like the lizard meat on its own is, I think, just going to be good. It's a lounger. It doesn't do a lot of movement, and it's skating around on water when it's doing like all of its really fast stuff. So like I feel like the meat isn't going to be too tough overall. And this is where you might somewhat disagree with what you want, but like I want his mane to be like a firm tofu texture.
No, that's and
it kind of like takes on,
you know?
Yeah, right. It kind of like it take on the flavor of whatever you're cooking it with, and I think on average, he's eating fish and stuff. I think he's on his own going to taste good, but then the main itself, the spongy main, is either going to be some kind of a dessert. I could also see that, or it's just going to be like going into soups and other accoutrement for the meal. And I think he'd be a very delicious addition to your Thanksgiving meal. Probably his tail, especially.
Sure. Yeah, this is a nice spot for Royal Blue Jaw.
The next one you're going to see on this list is Lagombi.
Should probably.
I'm going to be honest with you. I feel like a lot of the top 10 are real world equivalent animals, because a lot of the other ones I look at them and I go, "Oh, this could be interesting." But what the fuck does, like, what does a Garangolm taste like?
You know what?
Or a basil geese.
I'm not going to accept
a Garangolm, in fairness, probably tastes like a monkey.
I'm not going to accept this.
You don't?
Because you have Anknasom.
Which part do you not
at
accept?
At 16.
Yeah.
Anknasom is a fucking goose or a swan. People eat roast goose all the time.
They certainly do. And if I recall, I put the flavor itself up there pretty well, but I feel like it would be rather stringy.
Okay.
Yeah, the flavor's an 8. I feel like the meat itself would be tough and rather stringy. So I stand by that.
You made this literally impossible for me to argue with, because it's just vibes.
Subjective. It's just vibes. It's not an argument. It's an I'm curious what your perspective also is.
Okay. I'll give you a top 3 at the end of this.
Okay. That's fair. But like I said, I feel like a lot of these are just like kind of real world things. A Lagombi, that's just a big rabbit. That's all that is. Like a Ludroth, it's just a lizard with a mane. A Hermitar is just a crab. An Azros is a bear. We do have a couple on here that don't fall into this. The other two that I will say that do are Kulu Yaku, which similar to Anknasom, I just feel like it's a bit dumber and sleeps more, so it's a little bit less tough. That's like almost the only difference, and I feel like it tastes more like chicken.
Okay.
And it's a little bit easier as well, because as I said, ease of
claws,
hunting. So. Exactly. A Banbaro takes our number 2 spot. This is just some big deer moose something or other.
Yeah.
I don't know how much I can add to that. It got 10, 10, 7. Like, I don't know what else to say on that one. It is what it is. The one that I don't think I'll have to defend myself on, I think it might, I don't know what your take on it'll be, is a Palomu. I feel like even though a lot of it is going to be very chewy when it inflates its neck, I feel like the parts of it that are not, I feel like this is going to be a very sweet dessert-like meat. That's just the vibe that I get from it. As I said, this is almost entirely based on vibes.
Interesting. Looking at Palomu's face, I get rodent vibe. So I'm thinking
I can see that as well.
Nasty. What does it eat?
See, this is one of the ones. I don't know. That's the thing. In my head, I see it in the Coral Highlands, and I think of that as pretty, and then I think, it eats stuff that's there. It probably tastes good.
Yeah.
Maybe it eats wigglers. I don't know. Like, it might not. It could. There are a lot of these that I think are either very good or absolutely terrible. And because I've never eaten them, I can't quite tell. But I agree. I could see it being like a little rat guy that it really tastes pretty shitty overall. But like otherwise, maybe it's like quite nice. As I said, the neck meat's probably very chewy, but maybe you make like a little haggis or something in there because it extends so much. A blood pudding, perhaps.
Okay.
I think there's options. There's options with Palomu. It's an easy hunt.
Certainly.
That's the number 4. That's our number. Or sorry, that's actually our number 3 because I'm forgetting about taking the title line of this table into account. So Palomu is our number 3. Banbaro is our number 2. And I know you can see it, but your vote for number 1 was Kezu, if I recall, correct?
Yeah.
So mine, I said it's Dodogama.
This is just crazy.
And
this is crazy.
So Ease of acquisition, obviously, is a 10.
Yeah.
That's an easy fucking fight. Yeah. There's no argument there. That's a joke of a fight. Tenderness, I feel like he's in such a hot area most of the time. I suppose you could knock ease of acquisition down based on where he's located.
Okay.
But as I said, I only kind of used that as hard and fast evidence. So it only factors in so much. His tenderness, he's kind of moving around hot areas, rendering that fat all the time. But he can also like control his heat. Obviously, he charges up a big molten rock attack. But he's just a little sleepy snooze bear of a guy. He's not moving around much. That's going to be some very tender amphibian or brute wyvern meat. I don't remember which fucking one he was. And here's the thing. This is the most vibe check of answers of all of them. Because I put taste at 10 because I think it will be good. Just in general.
Okay.
But the thing is, you're going to feel really bad, like guilty bad. Like, oh, I'm so bad after you eat it. So that just knocks it all the way up to 10. Because, like, he's the cute little guy, but, like, you know he's fucking cute. And you know he tastes good. It's like Galapagos tortoises. Like, they weren't supposed to eat them, but then we almost put them into extinction. And then what I see that you uncovered on my little spreadsheet there is when he fills up his mouth with all of the molten rock, there's one of two ways it could go. You could either make him a pat. If you have a pat Dodogama, you could make a little fondue pot in his mouth, and he could just melt stuff for you.
Okay.
Or if you kill him and make him into dinner, you can still do the same thing. You just need a heat source still. So again, very versatile. There's a lot of things you can do with this.
That is extremely fucked.
People got to eat, Tyler. And in the world where there's massive monsters, you think they're not going to eat them?
I think you're taking some massive L's on this list, okay?
Yeah, that's fair.
All right.
This was put together hastily with limited information. I agree with that.
All right.
I will say I put Kazu. Where is it on this list?
He's at 17.
It has to be low.
He's at 17.
He's at 17? Oh, okay. I gave him... See, I feel like we came to almost the same conclusion because I put his tenderness of meat at a 10.
Yeah.
He does the least amount of movement, and I completely agree that he's probably like just all fat and no muscle density. But I feel like his meat is slimy and disgusting. That's why he's not higher up.
I feel like that's gonna be based on preparation. I bet you like a fried Kazu steak is really good. I won't deny that just the massive amount of fat content might be overboard, especially because it's not like a Wagyu beef style where it's just, the cows do nothing but exist to be the most fat saturated beef on the market. Kazu still is out there fighting and stuff. But here's what I want to bring up.
Yeah, that's fair.
The environment that Kazu is in is a cold environment. So, blubbery, lots of fat. He doesn't move, and his element is electricity, which is not going to inherently change the flavor of the meat or anything like that. Diet, I believe they eat poro or anteca, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, anything wandering into cave. Maybe I think it's kind of just anything that wanders into caves.
Okay. So I would actually
seeking shelter from the cold.
I'm thinking Kazu might be like a number 3 or a number 2 for me. I think the one that you really missed out on is Diablos.
Before you move to that,
okay,
that's an interesting one because I did think about Diablos. With that argument for Kazu, I'd give it top 5.
Okay.
I don't know if I'd give it top 3, but I could see where you're coming from, and I could see it moving up into the top 5 based off of that for sure.
All right, so here's what I'm going to lay out for
Diablos. I'm interested in. Okay, this one, yeah.
And I'm going to...
What you got?
I'm going to bring
Where is he at real quick?
to the Mediterranean.
He is currently at number 37 in the list.
I think he's either number 2 or number 1, and let me explain.
Oh, okay.
In the Mediterranean, Spain specifically, there is this certain breed of pig that roams meadows, and it is fed exclusively acorns. These are Iberico pigs. I'm sure you've heard of them. Okay. They're kind of infamous, right?
I think I've heard the name a little bit.
Yeah, so they have a very nutty taste naturally. Their fat content is very high because acorns are fatty. And they get that nice sort of let's see, what's the word that I'm looking for? They get a nice taint to their meat from their diet. And now with Diablos,
okay.
Do you know what Diablos eats?
I do not know what Diablos eats.
All right, so it's not a big thing in the new games, but in the old games, hunts were a lot longer. And a lot of the times, the monster would get tired, and when it was weak, it would go and eat.
Go and see them eat.
Yeah. Diablos only ever eats at mushroom gathering spots. And the mushroom gathering spots that Diablos eats at is also the spots where you gather unique and choice mushrooms for gathering and delivery quests. So I'm not saying that he's going to have, the most tender meat or anything like that. But his taste might be a 10 because it's just so unique and sought after for the mushroom flavor alone. And I understand one of the categories was accessibility and the ease of acquisition, as you called it. Diablos is a little bit frustrating, but the other thing...
See, I put Diablos at a 5 in... it's going, I suppose at 5 it doesn't technically matter. It's going 10 to 1, 1 being the hardest, because I conceptualized this wrong, and that's the only way it made sense to have the math work out.
Yeah.
Because I put him at we normally describe him as one of the wall monsters, where once you know how to fight him, it's pretty fucking easy overall. But those first couple kills are gonna fucking kick your ass when you don't know how to fight him. So I feel like that's a pretty good 5 of once you've mastered him, it's not too bad.
Okay.
But before you do, it's gonna be a fucking pain. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I feel you. And the last one that's in my top 3 that I don't think is even on your list because I don't know if you've fought it yet is it is on your list.
I'd say if it's in Rise, it should be there.
Why do you have Espanius so low? Because to me, Espanius is just pre-seasoned taco meat or something used in Latin American.
I feel like you're pulling that exclusively out of the name.
No. Listen.
Okay. All right. I'll hear you out.
I have to figure it. Okay, Astalos.
I'll let you cook.
Astalos. Your reasoning was it gives you a numbing feeling. Is that because of the paralytic lightning that it has control over?
Yeah.
Espanius does too. It can paralyze you.
Yeah, but it also has poison and fire.
Yes, I'm getting to those.
I'll be real. Most things with poison, I put lower. Most, not all, but most.
So, Astalos is going to have that numbing feeling similar to a very hot chili pepper that you eat, where it's spicy. You can't feel your face. Okay?
Yeah.
The fire, that's bringing that classic roasted flavor of a roasted pepper or fire roasted corn or something like that. Char is being brought inherently into the meat. And that poison is probably the hardest thing to sort of square away when you're talking about consuming
poison. is one that when I thought about it, it was a low factor to me because, like, when I said I don't know the anatomy of these things, like, pufferfish is extremely toxic and will just kill you if you eat it if it's prepared incorrectly.
Yeah.
But if it's prepared correctly, it's fine. Like, it's 100% fine to eat, other than that little bit of, like, a numbing feeling that you get from, like, a mild bits of the toxin. So, like,
yeah,
I did kind of overall keep that out of the rankings because I'm assuming that everything is prepared correctly if it's poisonous.
Yeah.
Now, if it's venomous, I mean, I guess if it's venomous, it's the same thing. But that is something that I had kind of taken into consideration. So not like, I mean, I'm sure that a couple of these have like inherently poisonous meat if you like look into the actual lore, but I didn't do that, so it's not taken into consideration.
Here's going to be my logic in okaying poisonous meat. In nature, things that are poisonous are usually poisonous because they need to be avoided by predators because they're otherwise defenseless and they make for an easy meal. Not venomous, but poisonous.
Yes, correct.
And in that distinction, I would say that Aspanius is more venomous than poisonous. Because
I'd say most of the monsters on this list I would define as venomous.
Yeah, so
I feel like small monsters are going to be poisonous.
Yeah,
on average.
I think for me, just the combination of two elements, technically three, but you know we're only going to talk about two.
Three technically.
Because we're just kind of discounting it as venomous more so. So you just remove the venom sac. The combination of those two elements also gets a very unique flavor, and I think that's something that Thanksgiving dinners need because too often,
that's true. That's true.
Poor young people are sort of squared away at the kids' table with bland mashed potatoes, turkey, and the only thing of flavor on their plate is the vegetables that they won't eat and the gravy that they smother the turkey and the mashed potatoes in. So that's my thinking. You need a little bit of variety in your Thanksgiving dinner. So
I'll give you that, and I feel like that's what I was aiming for with a lot of this as well.
Yeah, I would say
that makes sense.
My top three is probably Kazoo, Diablos, and Aspanius. Stop.
Okay.
Stop. You're losing your mind.
I'd say that's a pretty good top three. I feel like I'll stick with my top three.
Yeah, I
think Magnum Aloe would also be very good.
Magnum Aloe is such anything with blast is just gonna be like God, what's a good example? You ever bite into like a fried chicken breast, just like a fucking animal, pick it up with your hands, bite into it, and you just get that shot of grease that goes like all over your face and stuff. Anything with blast element, that's what I'm thinking.
You're
just getting blasted with the flavor right up front, which is good to me. That's a good thing.
Yeah, I agree.
But everything with blast, let's see. We have
not too many on here, really.
What do we have? We have
3 Magnum Aloe, Basil Geese.
Yeah. Brachydios, yeah. And then just variants, I think.
Yeah, pretty much. Bless is not super common.
Yeah.
The other ones that I have
just like a little weird what's the word that I'm looking for? Like biologically and anatomically to really think of a good spot. Although Brachydios legs, just a big haunch of Brachydios leg.
That'd be pretty good.
You know?
He's another one where I just said any of the brute wyverns are just muscly. They're gamey, they're muscly. They're not bad necessarily, but like you're gonna have to go for it. You're gonna have to be slow cooking a lot of this roster.
That's true, but you slow cook an entire turkey.
I'd say there's nothing wrong with that. I don't think there's anything wrong with slow cooking them, but That's just my reasoning on some of them. Of like sometimes it's not what you want, but sometimes it is. It's not an inherent detriment.
Yeah.
A couple other side comments that I have. One that I'm just curious what your take on this was. This I feel like Titsiyaku, or however you actually fucking say it, the fucking paparazzo.
Oh yeah.
I just put down in the notes, it's a dining experience.
It's certainly flashy.
I don't think it's very good. It's flashy. I think you have to save the receptors or whatever they're called in game.
That's what you serve
before you dig in. Oh, okay. That could be interesting as well. I was thinking they have to figure out a way to make them flash one last time as you're about to start eating it. Because I don't think the meat is very good. He's very small. Again, I feel like he's very tough and stringy. And I also feel like he just doesn't taste very good.
Well,
he's fucking
hang on. You have his biological cousin ranked number 5.
Yeah.
Yeah, Kulu and Titsu, or Titsi, or Tsitsi, they're like...
Yeah, but he's like purple and jumpy and looks awful, and I hate it.
Yeah, so Kulu is yellow,
I feel like he tastes
jumpy,
like shit.
And grabs rocks rather than flashes. So I think like the main difference is like the flash receptors.
Yeah, I feel like one of them tastes like shit, though.
Yeah, but... I think if I took off the flash receptors and taped them to Kuliaku's head and then hit him with a coat of purple, you wouldn't be able to tell the fucking difference.
I disagree entirely, having never tasted either of these two fictional meats. I think you're out of your mind for holding that opinion.
Okay, clearly. You know what? Listen. I'll let you have your made-up opinion, okay? It's not the end of the world.
Mm-hmm.
I think I agree with most of these, though. I wanted to make a case for some of the more, like, fanged wyverns, like Otagaran or Zenogre, but I think you're right. They're just, like, too close to, like, a dog. And I can't think of anything...
Yeah, a lot of these...
Like, near dog or cat that are, like, sought out for their meat.
Yeah. A lot of these I have...
The issue is that, like,
too close
every
to
single
dog,
one of these is a
too
predator,
close to cat.
Almost.
Yeah. And a lot of them I also have too close to human as well. Like, all of the monkeys.
Like, your Devil Joe take is just unhinged. Too brined, I hate pickles.
It's just because I don't like... Yeah, I just don't like pickles. So Devil Joe is trash.
But, like...
I will say, he looks... I put his tenderness at 10.
I see
like
that.
He looks very juicy.
I
I do think he looks juicy. I just think I would hate him. I think he could be, if you like pickles, because yes, I'm assuming he tastes like pickles. I think he could easily be a 23 instead of a 13 if you liked pickles.
Yeah, but that's still not in your top
he's a 13.
10. Here's what I think.
It's just out of top 10.
The dragon element really takes a lot.
What does dragon element taste like? Tell me that. Tell me what dragon element tastes like.
It's a certain flavor profile that can only be described as sort of like umami, you know? It's just that...
I don't know if I quite agree with that, but okay.
I would just say it's like, you know, like that almost sourceless savoriness that is added into a dish.
Okay.
You know?
Sure.
But I'll say this.
All right.
I'll say this. Devil Joe, I believe... What is the, like, crazy Devil Joe? What is that variant called?
I don't remember.
Is it like Brutal Devil Joe or something?
Furious? Brutal?
It's not brutal. That's not right. Whatever like the really ramped up one is, that Devil Joe just has to eat and eat and eat because the dragon element is literally destroying its body. And because of
Savage Devil Joe.
Savage Devil Joe. I think maybe dragon element is like a great tenderizer.
Okay.
So,
sure.
Here's my thinking.
All right.
You take your least tender meat, or some of your least tender meat on here, like Magnamalo, right?
You just
that
put,
is just a fucking
extract on it.
You have Magnamalo, right?
Okay.
You just captured or killed Magnamalo. Yep. You take your pet Devil Joe, which has been house trained and domesticated. Yeah. And you order him like Daenerys from Game of Thrones to Dragon Breath, Magnamalo, and then all of Magnamalo's hard plates and scales come off, and all that's left is just beautifully tenderized meat. It's like putting him in a marinade, and then like beating him down with a meat mallet at the same time. That's what I'm thinking.
I could
following my line
is being an option for it.
To recap, the dragon element is constantly
liquid smoke.
Maybe it's just liquid smoke.
Dragon element is liquid.
Maybe it's just liquid
dragon
smoke.
Element is
I'm a little bit off
smoke and like lime juice.
Lime,
because it tenderizes a little bit.
Good. All right.
It just breaks down that muscle content.
All right, Devil Joe blasting the spinous. Okay. Now you slow cook that into like a burrilla. Okay. And maybe you have some like good poro cheese to go on top. Okay. So I'm cooking here. I'm onto something.
You are cooking.
But yeah, that's enough. We can stop talking about this shit.
Okay. The other two that I want to call out here there's one that I want to call out just because I think it's funny. Mizitsune, also probably very tender, zero flavor. It's soapy.
Yeah, it tastes like cilantro.
That one's easy. Yeah, for sure. And then the actual one that I have at the bottom that isn't a fish, which is technically a fake answer. They should be somewhere in there. Is Leshen, because he's just like a wood spirit guy from The Witcher. He might be a human spirit. I don't know. It's fucked up to eat him. I don't think you want to. That's all about him. But then, because he's technically the lowest rated one, and he's also is one of the worst fights in Monster Hunter World. So like he did deserve the 0 that he got there. The one that is the bottom but has stats I put is Glavenus. And I put it because I hate that fight, for one. I find it very annoying. And then I feel like he is very mobile and jumpy and slamming things down. I feel like he has to be tough to maintain his body structure. And I feel like he tastes very metallic, which is why I put his taste at 1. And I'm curious what your thought on that is. Also, Gormagala curses you probably don't eat it. But I think we can agree there. What is your take on Glavenus tasting metallic?
It's very hard. It's very hard to debate that. The only thing that I could offer is the what is it, acidic or caustic Glavenus, whichever one.
Yeah, acidic Glavenus.
He would make great sour candies. Like
I can certainly agree
like
with
his
that.
Saliva or whatever it is
absolutely.
That is like actually the caustic part that he coats his tail blade with.
That would
make amazing sour.
That would make the next great warhead.
Oh yeah, or like put it on like a.
I'll certainly agree there.
A taffy stringer and just get stringy, sour like spaghetti sort of thing. That'd be amazing.
I couldn't agree more. And I believe that's where we're gonna wrap up this dipshit fucking idea. Oh wait, sorry. There's one more thing. Which Monster Hunter chef is your favorite? Who do you want preparing your Thanksgiving meal? We've had a couple of them throughout the games. I feel like I don't want to say anything before I taint, in case I taint what you're going to say. I feel like there's some pretty clear front runners. Though. But who do you pick?
For a Thanksgiving meal, it's got to be the Meowscular chef. Okay, just the amount of food that he puts in front of you.
See, that is what
every
I said
hunt
as well.
Is absurd. But just in terms of like most appealing chef, it would be the feline crew and Elgato, the ones that ride the train and make your
okay.
Do you remember what those rice balls are?
Yeah. The ones. Onigiri.
Yes. Yeah. Well,
Or oh no, the actual name of what they are.
I don't remember.
Dango balls or some shit. I think it's made up for the game.
I think they're a real
balls,
thing.
I believe. Yeah,
maybe not.
Are they? Because they just look like they might be. They just look like onigiri on a stick to me. But I am not well versed in that culture, so I could very easily.
But okay, so here's my reasoning for them as like my personal chef, and then I'll fly in the Meowscular chef for Thanksgiving and like Christmas feast. Okay, it would be like having a hibachi style chef every night because they're like throwing food in the air. They turn the rice into like rice flour with the hammers. Have you ever seen people do that?
Yeah, like the
mochi. Yeah. So I could watch that shit. Yeah, I would always watch that. And then they're like fucking skirting around on a train. That shit's cool as shit. Delivering me food on a train.
That is a cool cinematic.
So, yeah, they would be my personal chef, but Meowscular chef can make my Thanksgiving meal.
See, that's interesting because I also said Meowscular chef is my favorite of all of them. But if we're talking specifically a Thanksgiving meal, I feel like Grand Meowster Chef, the grandmother one in Celiana.
Oh, because grandma's
is like specifically a holiday meal. But I do agree that Meowscular Chef, on whole, best chef for sure.
Yeah.
But grandma preparing your Monster Hunter holiday meal, also pretty good.
Yeah, I'm kind of sad that
Rip back in the days when we had human chefs for you and Jen. Not actually, but that was an interesting change that they kind of just.
I'm kind of sad that
they always helped.
The hub chefs get no love from us, but they're just there. That's just like a restaurant,
Yeah,
it's all behind the scenes.
Yeah, it's a chain restaurant.
It's like an Applebee's.
Yeah, it's a shame, but hey, the Guildhall in specifically in Iceborne had some dope shit. Them coming down those big ass stairs all the time, that was pretty cool. Right. But you're right. I do agree that on average, they're not getting the same kind of love that one of the story chefs is getting for sure. But I believe with that, unless you have anything else to add, I think we're officially going to end it there now that we know which chef we would both pick.
That's good for me.
Obviously, the most important question. Yeah, thanks for sticking with us for the probably one of the most dumbass esoteric episodes, at least I've ever
Also,
read.
Wilson was on one this episode. He is losing his mind, and I don't know what it is that he wants. Jesus. Have fun editing that out, or don't. I'm sure nobody will have an issue with it.
Or don't. Just leave it in. Yeah, just our third co-star. He can stay in for a little bit, certainly. But yeah, we hope you have a great rest of your weekend, day, whenever you happen to be listening to this next, and we hope you had a great Thanksgiving as well. And finally, we hope you tune in for the next episode of the Bad Tutors podcast. Until then, I've been Ian.
And I'm always Tyler. I don't have a closer. Do you have a closer?
No.